Here we are on Clothesline, the show where we wring them clean, string them up and put them to dry on the clothesline. I know what you're thinking. Finally! I do owe you an explanation. But I'm going to go according to my Indian heritage. Blame the other person. Where were you? If anchors in the good old days of Doordarshan News could put you to sleep, the decibel levels of new age anchors could wake up Rip Van Kumkaran. But we finally found someone capable of sleeping through all the screaming, yelling and bakwas. Most people find it hard to sleep through the news hour, even with the television off, but not G. Balachandran. Now, anyone else doing that is fine, but that man is an analyst on nuclear policy. Hey Arnab, in case you're feeling bad that someone fell asleep on your panel, don't. Things could be worse. Imagine if he was on India's nuclear program.
Warning, problem in Sector 7G.
Now that would be a risky proposition. Speaking of risks, Delhi voted last week and decided to live dangerously by voting in the Aam Aadmi Party. Get the headlines. Aap Tsunami in Delhi drowns BJP. Aapki Sarkar, Kejriwal rules Delhi. AK-67, great headline. Wall-to-wall Kejriwal. Kejriwal sweeps it all up. And if you were watching television channels, they were full of excited, ecstatic, euphoric Delhi citizens. And that's just the anchors.
It was a wave. It was a landslide.
Unbelievable. There are no words to describe what has been made possible today.
दिल्ली की जनता ने अरविंद केजरीवाल को गोद में उठाया इस वक्त 57 सीट पर आम आदमी पार्टी.
Firecrackers, sloganeering, songs, dance.
60 सीटें, 70 में से 60 सीटें, ये 2/3 छोड़िए, 3/4 छोड़िए, 3/4 बहुमत से भी ज्यादा है.
So much so that the AAP supporters decided to join in.
You're going to get up and dance?
Of course I'll
get up. Okay, Vishal Dadlani coming out to dance.
So who is responsible for the win? The Delhi voter? Kejriwal? The AAP volunteers? Of course not.
मेरी अरविंद जी से शुभकामना है चाहे मंत्रिमंडल बने कोने बने लेकिन आंदोलन को भूलना नहीं.
Of course, no matter what Kejriwal achieves from now till the end of time, it's all because of the Andolan. And we know what Anna Hazare means by Andolan. Anna Hazare. While analysts and newswallas gave this historic result all sorts of names, the one that cocked a snoot most subtly at the BJP was the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, with this ad that appeared the day the BJP was almost wiped out of Delhi. That's going to open a whole new can of worms for you, Mr. Jagat Prakash Nadda. In case you're wondering why the deworming of Delhi wasn't complete, here's why.
साधारण साबुन जहां 1 मिनट लेता है, लाइफबॉय लिक्विड हैंड वॉश दे 99.9% कीटाणुओं से सुरक्षा.
See, in every ad, 2-3 कीड़ा हमेशा रह ही जाते हैं because nothing can be clean 100%. That has been scientifically established. But guess who is spreading the most germs by coughing into his hands and shaking the hands of every person he sees? Watch.
All right, Ashutosh speaking over there, but let's now go live to the Constitution Club in central Delhi and join our correspondent Priyam Vada.
A bit icky. But coming back to the 67 of 70, which leaves just 3 for the BJP, that is such a small minority at 4.28%. It's almost like the total Christian population as opposed to the Hindu population in India. You think you know what that feels like? You know, let me give you an idea. Now imagine all these AAP rowdy noxals, like our Prime Minister called them, were to get together in the assembly and say, ये assembly AAP-TAD की है और जो भी यहाँ पर है वो AAP-TAD है, because AAP-TAD is a way of life. Or imagine if they say, anyone who comes into the assembly must wear these ridiculous kagaz ki kashti type caps. You know what that would feel like? Has someone ever done that before?
Valentine's Day, yeah? Love, flowers for most of us. But in one part of northern India, some radical Hindus are beating up people in the streets.
I think you might need to ask for more security because our Prime Minister wouldn't want such a small minority of people to be surrounded by anarchist noxals. You know how insecure that might feel, you think? And now the majority really has to be careful about what they say because they could offend the minority sentiments. Now the BJP will know what it's like to have the shoe in the other court. And up, since you're so into pandering to minorities, BJP walo ko bhi kuch de do. I know. Leader of the opposition post, even if they don't have a right to it. Think about it. 3 out of 70, that's no opposition. But then, this is up. Be sure to expect at least 1/3 of them to form their own little faction, whining about Kejriwal's governance or lack of governance or confusion, thus providing the people of Delhi with a robust opposition.
The party leadership of Arvind Kejriwal has been straying from the objectives of the party.
Ta-da! AAP has a solution to everything, even a non-existent opposition. While we're on the subject of non-existent, how are the Congress and the BJP handling their defeat? BJP scored 3 out of 70 seats, as you know, and Congress scored 0, with 63 candidates forfeiting their deposits. You think that would be reason enough to feel miserable about your own performance, but not if you're the Congress or the BJP, because it's more fun laughing at the other's misfortune.
So I believe this verdict is really a verdict on Mr. Narendra Modi. Is somebody asking him to resign as a Prime Minister?
मुझे लगता है आज रागिनी को भी अपनी पार्टी का समीक्षा करना चाहिए।
नरेंद्र मोदी का अहंकार, उनकी पार्टी का अहंकार, उनकी पार्टी के वादा खिलाफी और जुमलाबाजी, उन सारी चीजों के खिलाफ दिल्ली की जनता ने एक वोट दिया है।
Congress party, which seems to be decimated not only in Delhi but all the polls repeatedly, they have put in their worst ever performance.
Talk about extracting a silver lining from the darkest cloud, or I'll let the king of phrases come up with a more appropriate simile.
Salman shows you deserve a compliment. You are so optimistic, you will be able to squeeze water out of a rock.
And Arnab, you could extract a confession from a rock, because if the rock is hard, your questions are harder.
Faced with some tough questions on the news hour, unfortunately, Mallikaiah Gutedar, chairman of the Estimates Committee of the Legislature, has walked off the sets of news hour. I do hope that Kiran Bedi in her future interviews to Times Now takes those and even more tougher questions. That empty chair is proof of the fact that when faced with tough questions, the Pakistanis have no real answers.
Now the BJP and the Congress argued about who was the worst, while channels outdid the politicians in spin to claim the #1 channel spot.
CNN-IBN is the #1 English news channel. CNN-IBN is almost 4 times ahead of competition like Headlines Today. And
#1 according to TAM ratings for cable and satellite for ages 4 and up for the 3rd week of 2015 only. If you're watching now, no guarantees. Heck, even NewsX is #1. NewsX is the most influential if you're a male over 25 and in the socio-economic bracket A or B, and you're watching this in the 3rd week of January, and it's between 6 a.m. and 12 a.m. That's a lot of conditions. When everyone claims to be first, it doesn't do much for credibility because no one believes you. If you don't believe me, ask the man who speaks for the nation. Not him. Not him, no. Yes, he speaks for the nation, and all you other news professionals, this is what he says.
There is no credibility of a poll. Like this is like some of those channels who don't get the viewership and then do a poll of their own saying, according to our poll, we've got the viewership.
Arnab, stop being a janani. Just cover the election. While Times Now was slowest in giving us the numbers on counting day, they were fastest at trashing others. Now, Arnab, very often your barb is aimed at NDTV, where you worked for about 10 years. You know what that sounds like when you trash them?
मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ आम आदमी पार्टी से, सब पर इल्जाम लगाना, झूठा एविडेंस क्रिएट करना और उसके आधार पर किसी की इज्जत के साथ खिलवाड़ करना, क्या ये सच्चे लोग करते हैं?
And you know how people like that are dealt with? Hell, of course you know.
The arrogance of these new political turncoats like Shazia Ilmi, who switch sides at the drop of a hat.
But poor Shazia was in the line of fire because the only other person to have time-jumping ship so perfectly was Leonardo DiCaprio in the Titanic.
We're gonna make it, Rose! Trust me!
And poor Shazia abandoned ship when she hit the iceberg called Ornom.
Sorry to have to inform our viewers, the empty chair there is of Shazia Elmi. She just walked up and went away.
And all that pent-up anger that Shazia felt found release on NDTV.
As a Haryanvi, I feel that you Dilliwalas have now beaten us. I think Aya Ram, Gaya Ram is now over. Now it should be Aya Ilmi, Gaya Ilmi.
I can say that about your political affiliations, Shekhar Gupta ji. You know, Aya Ambani, Gaya Ambani, but I won't say it because I'm too decent for that.
I think this is very good. When you don't have an answer, you bring in Ambani.
Just because you're a wheeler dealer yourself, doesn't mean you can say this to me.
Oh no, she didn't. If this man learnt that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, then this man learnt that a woman scorned hath no fury like a scorned woman whose party has been scorned by the electorate. But how did the ever Mr. Smooth Dr. Roy react?
Shahzad Almi, just let's get to give us a couple of reasons, two reasons why where BJP lost the plot.
Pranoy, did you miss what she just said?
Shekhar Gupta ji, you know, Aya Ambani, Gaya Ambani, but I won't say it because you're a wheeler dealer yourself. Doesn't mean you can say this to me.
Shahzad Almi, just let's get to give us a couple of reasons.
Pranoy, did you miss it again? She just called your co-panelist a wheeler dealer. But of course, in the world of Dr. Roy, nothing unpleasant ever happens. And if something unpleasant happens, it didn't. Chai ke saath icing wala muffin leke aao. But Shazia can't complain because this was an election fought on the real issues.
Arvind Kejriwal tweeting to Kiran Bedi asking her to unblock him on Twitter.
Unblock कर देना क्यों ब्लॉक करना तो ठीक नहीं आपस में मैं कोई गाली गलौज तो करता नहीं मैं बड़ी सभ्य भाषा तो अनब्लॉक कर दें अच्छा
Good to see them focusing on what really matters. What next? Ask Bedi to stop untagging him in India against corruption photos on Facebook. If Kejriwal was the runaway winner of these elections, Kiran Bedi was also the runaway winner of this election. Well, the winner is running away anyway.
Anna Hazare was your mentor. You had accused Arvind Kejriwal of not taking him into confidence. Ms. Bedi, the question is on Anna Hazare.
Please come to the next one.
सवाल है एक सेकंड एक दो सवाल
No, I have to go now.
किरण बेदी IPS से ऑफिस
After abandoning those two interviews, Z News was taking no chances.
तो दिल्ली में बीजेपी मुख्यमंत्री के उम्मीदवार जो हैं किरण बेदी जी वो ऑटो राजा में अब हमारे साथ चल रही हैं.
Smart move by Z, making sure she wasn't seated next to an exit. But after that interview, Bedi gave no more because, well, here's why.
Vocal Kiran Bedi suddenly is saying nothing. She is not addressing any big sabhas. She's going through her road shows, but she says that her throat is sore.
You could say traveling in a rickshaw meant the cold got her. Or was it the heat? Me too. Can I speak, Amit Bhai, please? I don't need voice rest. If the Bedi card didn't work for the BJP, neither did the whole anarchist tagging. It wasn't just politicians, but enough journalists used the word liberally.
There was little doubt left that Kejriwal actually exhausted his anarchy card.
Now you have a party leader, a chief minister who has declared himself to be an anarchist.
The politics of anarchy being practiced by Arvind Kejriwal, saying that how can you be in government and want to be anarchist at the same time?
So let's see. What is anarchy? The definition of anarchy is a state of disorder due to absence or non-recognition of authority or other controlling systems. Now, where have I seen that before?
तो कहता है यार रंजन you're right आप कांग्रेस को अपनी दुकान है.
And these too. But that's not a non-recognition of authority. So that's not anarchy. Also, industry are wealth creators and job creators, so they're muff. But what about politicians?
This is the third attack this week by Samajwadi Party leader. This latest incident took place on Sunday when he was stopped by a toll booth attendant.
Vadodara Congress MP Vital Radadia on Wednesday night brandished a gun at a toll barrier staff.
Former MP, minister and sitting BJP MLA Rustam Singh and his supporters beat up the toll booth employees.
Okay, politicians beating up people without fear of the law. Now, that's not a non-recognition of authority or other controlling systems like the people or courts. So they're also muff. But of course, we can't forget the media. Last year, during the Lok Sabha elections, all the media channels colluded and decided to flout Election Commission rules and broadcast the BJP manifesto release live while elections were in progress. Would that qualify as a non-recognition of authority or the rules? Of course not. In a democracy, the media is supposed to be the watchdog. The watchdog is supposed to be independent. But here we find some watchdogs are subservient to their masters. The master provides for your survival. For some people, it is the government, for some it's ads, and for some it's big industrialists. For News Laundry, it's you. Will you pay to keep news free? Then we had Obama's visit to India. Obama was the guest of honor this year at the Republic Day ceremony, and clearly we were out to impress him. No, not just with our military might, but with our love for paper mache. We had people walking paper mache dogs.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
And the Atomic Energy float had a giant paper mache dove, which was so big, probably because it was exposed to radiation. If the Atomic Energy float had a giant bird, the Goan float had this monstrous crab and people wearing fish heads. But not a single float was complete without tourists holding paper mache cameras.
I'm in summer. Why does the DJ keep on playing Summertime Sadness? But first, let me take a selfie.
Still, the award for the most honest tableau goes to the Railway Ministry for this, because nothing is more synonymous with Indian Railways than staring at the frozen IRCTC website. The only real exception to these tableaux was the Make in India float, and in typical Make in India fashion, only half of it was working. Now, I can understand how terrible Mr. Modi felt when he saw these rickety, shaky floats with his buddy Brock, unimpressed. Who's Brock? Brock? You know, Narendra and Brock, like Jay Viru, Karan Arjun, that Brock.
मेरी और बराक के बीच में वो दोस्ती बन गई है. इस केमिस्ट्री ने मुझको और बराक को तो निकट लाया ही है. Myself and Barack.
So obviously Narendra needed something to impress Brock. So he had a plan B for Brock, which was not made in India. His suit, as reported by newspapers, a suit made with a customized pinstripe material with his name woven in. No. Before you go getting outraged, it's actually a very good investment. It saves time on introductions, so you can get straight to business. Minimum introduction, maximum governance. But if some analysts are to be believed, that suit did not suit the voter because in Delhi, they picked a muffler. But the newspaper industry had it good. 1 week before the Delhi election did more for them than any reform Kejriwal could do in 5 years. That suit suits them just fine. So what if that suit cost Modi a few thousand votes, as long as his buddy Brock was impressed because he tried something equally cheesy to impress Modi and the Indian public.
Señorita, bode desho mein. You know what I mean.
Really, Barack? A line from a Yashraj film? Could you think of anything more tacky?
Yes, I can.
What?
May the force be with you.
Facepalm. A cheesy line from Shah Rukh to Kajol is higher on the cheesy index than a line from Obi-Wan to Luke. Modi 1, Barack 0. So what did Pakistani news make of Obama's visit?
We are aware कि exactly क्या हो रहा है. America की उन्हें बात यकीनन इक्वालिटी की है, लेकिन sad reality is कि Barack Obama उधर जाएं और John Kerry इधर आएं.
Well, we think we know why Obama decided to give Pakistan a miss. Watch this.
ये मनाजर जमाना कदीम के नहीं, ये तो है 21वीं सदी का लाहौर. जी हाँ, गाड़ी में पेट्रोल अचानक खत्म हो गया, पंप पहले ही खाली पड़े हैं. ऐसे में गाड़ी के आगे गोरा जोत लें तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता सही मंजिल पर जरूर पहुंच जाएंगे.
हमारे साथ जो कुछ हो रहा है, मुझे ये देख के लग रहा है कि मैं कल स्कूल नहीं जा सकूंगी क्योंकि गाड़ी में पेट्रोल ही नहीं है.
कैमरामैन मोहम्मद सादिक के साथ अमीन हफीज, जियो न्यूज, लाहौर.
And here we give poor Bhupin and Rahul a hard time for riding a bike.
I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle.
We also had our caption contest, and the winner is Supratim Bhattacharjee. Thank you for participating, and remember to take part in our next caption contest to stand a chance of getting your name on Clothesline. Well, that's a wrap for the week. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. If you have any moments from journalism that made you go, oh wow, or oh crap, write into us or tweet to us. We are the change. You are the change, for better or worse. Never do nothing. Stay connected. Stay online. If you enjoyed that, click up here to support us and down here to subscribe. Be sure to check out our older episodes and the other stuff we do, like Can You Take It, I Agree, panel discussions, comics and animations, and much, much more.